Good evening, Stratomaticers. Welcome back to another Strat O Matic Super Advanced Replay. My name is Keith, your host. We just concluded our 1977 World Series simulation. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the New York Yankees 4-2. Concluded that last week. Thought we'd do something a little bit different with modern teams. So this is the 2021 Strat set of cards. You'll notice the baseball cards out here too. Thought I'd do something a little bit different in terms of presentation, where it allows not every Strat card has a baseball card from the 2021 set, but there are several players who do, and just wanted to mix it up and give it a little bit of a different feel. So just randomly selected a Twins-Indians matchup from 2021 season. This game took place on May 21st. It did take place in Progressive Field, and Cleveland is the home team. So I'm not sure if I'm just going to do a single game or a 3-game set. I'd kind of like to work through the 2021 season, maybe just taking one team or two teams at a time, each one playing a single game so all the teams can be represented. Not sure how interesting you all will find that or not. Maybe mix it up too, but I'd like to use the 2021 card set that I have. I have both the base set and then the update as well, both in terms of Strat O Matic cards, so, and also baseball cards as well. Kind of collecting the baseball cards. I purchased a set just for the specific purpose. I thought about putting the cards in sleeves, but I literally have probably triples of everything, and other than, you know, some cards that could be valuable down the road, probably keep the rest of the cards without a sleeve on them. I don't want to spend $60 on plastic sleeves to make this work. So you know, so my apologies to all you hardcore card collectors and enthusiasts that there could be some cards damaged through the filming of this series. So anyhow, that's that. Getting into a little bit of the game, as I mentioned, super advanced rules are in place. We will be using ballpark effects as well. Progressive Field has a pretty much a cookie cutter type setup for ballpark effects. As I mentioned, this game took place in late May on the 21st. I'm using historical lineups in as much as I have the Strat cards to be able to do that. There were some adjustments made to the Cleveland Indians initial lineup because I didn't have Strat cards for some of the players they must have brought up from the minors to play in this game. So I do believe I have all the Twins cards, but there are some changes to the historical roster. All my roster information comes from baseballreference.com. I love it, and it also has, of course, the game-by-game results and box scores for basically every season of professional baseball played. So we look at Progressive Field. 11,675. This was a Friday night game. Start time was 7:10. Time of game was 3:10. Our ballpark effects for both left and right hitters, a 1 through 8, it'll be a single with 1 star. 9 or greater, it'll be a line out to the respective second base or shortstop defensive players. Home runs, 1 to 10 from either side of the plate will result in a home run, and then an 11 or greater will result in an out. Now we do play the special rule of robbing a player of a home run, so I expect we'll probably see that enter in here maybe once or twice tonight, so keep that in mind as we go through here as well. But that's your ballpark information. In terms of the teams themselves, we'll go through the lineups here. We've got for the Minnesota Twins, they're the visitor. We have Luis Arraez playing second base. He's a left-handed hitter. Josh Donaldson's batting second, third base, batting from the right side. Lefty Max Kepler will be our DH. Alex Kirilloff, batting from the left side, will be in right field. He has a -1 arm rating. Miguel Sano will be playing first, batting from the right side. Trevor Larnach playing left. He also hits from the left side of the plate and has an arm of 0. And then our catcher is Mitch Garver. He has a pass ball rating of 2, a throwing error rating of a 1, so not a great deal of likeliness we're going to see either of those two results with Mitch Garver behind the plate. He does bat from the right side, and he is a 0 in terms of arm strength, as I mentioned. Rob Refsnyder playing center field. Buxton probably was hurt during this game. It seems like he spends half his season at least on the IR. So Rob Refsnyder is your center fielder. Bats from the right side of the plate with a +1 arm. And then Andrelton Simmons is your shortstop. He is batting from the right side. So that's your lineup for the Minnesota Twins. On the mound, the Twins will have Randy Dobnak, an Uber Lyft driver in the off season. I remember the Twins announcers had a lot of fun with that, as he was working his way through the minor league. Before he became a major league player, he drove for Uber and Lyft as a side hustle. So back of his baseball card states that as well. Here's the strat line on Dobnak. He is a right-handed pitcher, has a point of weakness of 6 innings, defensively has a 3 fielding rating, an error rating of 0. No box allowed by him. He does have a wild pitch on an 8 or less. His hold rating is a -3, and because this is the American League, we do not expect to see Randy Dobnak bunt. So those are your Minnesota Twins in terms of today's game. From a historical perspective, a couple things to note. In 2021, the Twins did have 2 All-Star representative. One was Tyler Rogers, relief pitcher. He made the team, and then Nelson Cruz was an All-Star reserve. He did it as a DH. So those were your 2 All-Stars in 2021. And Nelson Cruz did receive the Roberto Clemente award as well. He did win that in 2021. So those are your Minnesota Twins. For the Cleveland Indians, we'll go ahead and introduce their lineup. We have Andres Jimenez playing left field, batting from the left side, playing second. Eddie Rosario, one of my personal favorite players, ex-Twin. He's playing left, bats from the left side, a -2 arm rating. Jose Ramirez, an All-Star reserve in 2021. He's a third baseman, and he's a switch hitter. We have Franmil Reyes. He is the designated hitter for this game, and he bats from the right side. Just looking at something real quick here. Never mind. And then we have the left-handed hitting Josh Naylor playing right. He has a -1 arm rating. Brad Zimmer is in center, hitting from the left side with a -2 arm. We have Harold Ramirez playing first, right-handed hitter. Ahmed Rosario playing short, batting from the right side. And then we have the catcher Austin Hedges. He's batting from the right side with a -2 arm and a pass ball rating of 1 and a throwing error of 1 through 3. So those are your starting lineup players for the Cleveland Indians, managed by Terry Francona, one of my favorite skippers in the majors. And on the mound, we have Triston McKenzie. I always enjoy watching him pitch. In 2021, he had a good season. Just going to turn this over here. As a young pitcher, he had an ERA of 4.95, wins against replacement of 1, and a WHIP of 1.18. So he did get 25 games that he pitched in, and a less than modest record of 5-9. But I know he's a better pitcher, and he pitched much better in 2022. So the strat card on Triston McKenzie, he's got a point of weakness inning rating of 4, range rating of 2, error rating of 0, a balk rating of 7, wild pitch of 3. So we might see a balk or 2 from Triston tonight. He throws from the right side again, and he has a hold rating of -2. American League DH rules are in place. In fact, we won't be seeing him at the plate either. So one thing I did want to mention around this, I had just a chance to play a game right after that 77 series, and I had done some 1980s games, and then also I've got a 1911 Detroit Tigers season that I'm running. And it's interesting when you start to deal with starting pitcher's point of weakness in the 4th inning. It really changes the simulation around. You know, a pitcher in 1911, their point of weakness rating was 9. So you pretty much were getting a complete game, you know, unless something, you know, drastically happened that was wrong. Even with the 77 replay, starters could go deep into the game, you know, but you started to see point of weakness ratings of 7 or 6. But now, and I can't even imagine what the 2022 point of weaknesses are going to look like, given that most managers were apprehensive about letting starting pitchers face a lineup a third time. You know, we're going to see point of weakness of 4 and 5, I think, be pretty common with that 2022 set. So time will tell on it, but it will change the management of this game quite a bit. I will, if I play multiple games in this series, we'll be using these strat rules for resting relief pitchers. Right now I'm assuming everybody's coming into this game fresh, so they're able to go ahead and be used without any type of limitations due to fatigue. But should I play, you know, a 3-game set, I will be keeping track of the relief pitchers so that they get used in accordance with the strat rules. So I think that pretty. Oh, Rocco Baldelli, by the way, is your manager for the Minnesota Twins. I'm kind of a Rocco fan. I think he's done a nice job. I know that the fan pages on Facebook really get on him for his what would seem to be a complete analytics approach to the game. I'm not smart enough to answer one way or another if that's a drawback for him or not. I think he's done a nice job with the Twins. I don't know if he's a good enough manager to take them to a World Series or not, but it sure would be fun to see if it ever happened, what the result would be. So anyways, let's get to strat. Top of the first, Minnesota Twins have Luis Arraez at the plate. Triston McKenzie's on the hill. Arraez in 2021 batted .294 with 428 at bats, 2 home runs, 17 doubles, 6 triples, 43 base on balls, only 48 strikeouts. So really disciplined at the plate. He is a left-handed hitter against the right-handed McKenzie. We'll go ahead and roll. That's a 3 and a 4 against right-handed pitcher. It's ground ball, shortstop, A plus injury. I ignore injuries in my games. So we're just going to record that a ground out for 6-3 for the first out. We got Josh Donaldson up next. Donaldson is the Twins' third baseman. In 2021, Donaldson had a .247 average, 26 home runs, 457 at bats. He was able to stay mostly healthy in 2021. 72 RBIs, close to leading the Twins, I think, in that season. So we have one down. The pitch from McKenzie. It's a 1 and a 3. It's going to be a ballpark single. So a right-handed, left-handed, it doesn't matter. So that's a 2. And so Donaldson gets the Twins' first hit of the game and ends up on first base. It's going to bring up left-handed hitter Max Kepler. Oops. Here we go. Got Max Kepler up there in the box. So Kepler in 2021 batted a measly .211 with 426 at bats. He really had a tough season, and I think he's had a pretty solid decline the last couple of years after some pretty nice seasons in 18 and 19. So we have one out. Donaldson's at first, no threat to run. Pitch, a 1 and a 4 against a right-handed pitcher, is a ground ball, second base C. So we have a runner on first, batters out, runners advance 1 base. So Donaldson is going to move to second. Alright, so Donaldson's on second. We got Kepler out. That's going to bring up Alex Kirilloff, right fielder. Kirilloff in 2021 had a 251 average, 215 plate appearances. However, you know, a rookie, I think that was his first year that he actually had a whole, had quite a few at-bats. So the pitch from McKenzie, so 5 and a 5 against a right-handed batter, or a left-handed batter, excuse me, is a strikeout. So the Twins are going to strand one after a half inning. It's the Twins 0 and the Indians 0. So Randy Dobnak takes the mound. Got Andres Jimenez up first. Jimenez in 2021 had a 218 batting average with 188 at-bats. He did have 11 stolen bases though, so you know that's it's not terrible in 2021 for that few at-bats to have at least 11 stolen bases, so that's pretty cool, and he didn't get caught stealing at all. So the pitch from Dobnak, 6 and a 7 against a left-handed batter, is a triple 1 to 5, a double 6 to 20, and that's a double. So Jimenez has a leadoff double for the Indians, and just like that, they have a runner in scoring position. We're going to put Jimenez's card up here. Batting second is Eddie Rosario. See if Rosario can get Jimenez in. So Jimenez will be held at second. So that's going to be the shortstop. Put that on the card right there. So he is being held at second. Let's see the rule. No random event. That's a 5 and an 8 against the left-handed Rosario, and that's a ground ball second base X. So the second baseman, Luis Arraez, was playing in his usual position. The shortstop, Simmons, was holding Jimenez on base. So Arraez has a fielding a range rating of 3 and an error rating of 8. So we're going to go ahead and roll those right now. So that's a 4. And then a 13. So that 4 on the range roll might be a problem. And it is. It's an SI1. And then for the error rating is an 8. I rolled a 13. And that's a blank, so it's an SI1 result. And that's going to be single, runners advance 1 base. So Jimenez is going to go to first. Rosario, or excuse me, Jimenez goes to third, Rosario goes to first. And that's 2 back-to-back hits for the Indians lineup. Got the all-star Jose Ramirez up next. And we do have a card for Ramirez. So there's that. So runners on the corner. Rosario is going to be held at first. So Ramirez is a switch hitter. So he's batting from the left side of the plate. So Simmons is going to hold Rosario at first, along with the first baseman Sano. All right, runners on the corners. Here we go. So that's a 2. So that's a random event. We'll roll 1 through 3. It's a possible balk. 4 through 6, a possible pass ball. So Garver has a pretty low pass ball rating. He has a pass ball rating of 2, so we need to roll a 2 or less for a pass ball to occur. Ooh, that's a 7. So no pass ball occurs. And we're going to go ahead and roll the 3 dice. So that's a 2 and a 12 against the left-handed batter, against the right-handed pitcher. 2 and a 12 is a hit by pitch. So the bases are going to be loaded here. So Ramirez gets on base, courtesy of a Dobnak plunk in the right shoulder. We have bases loaded just like that. So we've got Jimenez on third, Rosario on second, Ramirez at first, and we have Franmil Reyes up next, who's a absolutely dangerous guy to have at the plate with bases loaded. He had 30 home runs in 2021. Alright, let's see what happens. Infield is playing normal. So that's a 5 and a 7. Reyes is a right-handed batter. So a 5 and a 7 is a single 1-6. Ground ball third base B, 7-20. That's going to be a single with 1 star. So Reyes gets a single. He's going to get an RBI. And that's 4 Indians players who have reached base successfully in the first inning. 4 for 4 in that regard. And there are no outs. You have the left-handed hitting Josh Naylor up next. I kind of like the card of Naylor. Looks like he's covering his eyes, getting ready to catch a ball in the outfield. Same thing. Infield is going to be back. And Dobnak needs to get out of this. Hopefully he can get a double play here. So that's a 1. So we have the potential for a wild pitch. Dobnak has a wild pitch on a roll of 8 or less. That's a 3. So a wild pitch occurs. And that's going to score Rosario. And it's going to move all the runners to their next base. So Ramirez goes to third, Reyes goes to second, Naylor remains at the plate. So bullpen is not going yet. However, Baldelli, I'm sure, is about ready to make a phone call. So, no outs, runners on second and third. Left-handed hitting Josh Naylor is up next. Naylor batted .253 in 2021 with 7 home runs. Let's see what happens. So that's a 2 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher. That's a ground ball shortstop A. So we've got a 6-3. So if it's hit to second base or the shortstop, batter out, runners advance 1 base. All right. So Naylor's out for the first out. However, Ramirez is going to score, and Reyes goes to third. So Naylor picks up an RBI. Ramirez scores. Reyes to third. Naylor is retired. So finally, the Twins have it out. Brad Zimmer is up next. Left-handed hitting Zimmer. He's got a pretty cool looking card as well. Reyes is on third with 1 out. Zimmer has a D bunting rating, so we're just going to swing away with him. So So that's a 1 and a 3 against the right-handed pitcher, and that's a single. It does have the clutch hitting symbol on there, but we'll ignore that. So it's a single to left field. So that's going to score Reyes. Zimmer has a single, and the Indians have a 4-0 lead in the first inning, so they're really putting it on Dobnak. We have the first baseman Harold Ramirez up next. Zimmer is going to be held. Ramirez is hitting from the right side of the plate, so our second baseman and first baseman are going to work together to keep Zimmer at first. Our pitch is a 2 and an 8 against the right-handed pitcher. 2 and an 8 is a ground ball, first base beat. So that's good. So the batter's safe. The runner at first is out going to second, force play. So that's a fielder's choice. So Zimmer is out. I'm going to score that a 1-6. All right. So that brings up Ahmed Rosario. Put Ramirez at first. Ahmed Rosario is up next. We'll make a decision on whether or not we hold Ramirez right now. Not much of a running threat. We have 2 outs, so we're going to play infield normal. Rosario bats from the right side of the plate. That's a 5 and a 6 against a right-handed batter, and that's a ground ball, shortstop A. So the Indians darn near hit through the order in the first. They bring 8 batters to the plate, score 4 times, and at the end of 1, it's the Indians 4 and the Twins 0. All right, top of the second. We've got a 4-0 Indians lead. I just realized the name change, right? Cleveland Guardians from the Indians. I reckon there'll always be the Indians for me. I can't keep straight what year it is until probably June. I usually write down the previous year's number for quite some time anyway. So the idea that I'm going to be able to call the Cleveland Guardians the Guardians is pretty much slim to none. So we're going to go with the Indians, and nothing intended otherwise than it was a great name. And I haven't completely bought into the Guardians piece yet. So Sano's up. Sano in 2021 had a .223 average with 30 home runs. He was either a strikeout, which he had 183, a double, or a home run hitter. I mean, it really, listening to the games or watching the games, seemed that way. He either strike out or hit a double or a home run. So pretty much all you can expect from Sano. And really with Sano, you know that if bases are loaded and the Twins need a run, chances are he's going to strike out. Enough said on that. So that's a 5 and a 5 against a right-handed batter, and that is a strikeout. So Sano stays true to form with a strikeout for the first out of the Twins' second. Got Trevor Larnach up next. Another nice young Twins player. Missed most of 2022 with injuries, but showed a lot of promise. So Larnach in 2021 batted .223, had 260 at-bats, so almost half a season, and then a little over half a season with 7 home runs. So we'll see how he fares against Triston McKenzie. We have a righty-lefty matchup. So that's a 3 and a 12 against a right-handed pitcher is a hit by pitch. So Larnach is able to reach first after getting plunked in the right shoulder. That's going to bring up the catcher Mitch Garver. So Larnach is not much of a running threat. Just for the heck of it, I will try for a good lead. We've got Garver at the plate. Nope. I would have had to roll snake eyes for him to get a good lead. So I'm going to go ahead and roll Garver at the plate. It's a 6 and a 10. A right-handed batter, a 6 and a 10 is a strikeout. So McKenzie gets his third strikeout of the game, second strikeout of the inning, and the Twins have 2 down. And Velton Simmons is up next. He's the number 9 hitter for the Twins. Or excuse me, Rob Refsnyder, our center fielder, is up next. Don't have a card for Refsnyder, so we're going to go old school with him. So that's a 3 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher, and that's a single 1-5, a line out to third, 6 through 20. That's a line out to third. So Refsnyder hits a hard ball to our third baseman, Jose Ramirez, and the Twins are out in the second. So after 1.5, it's the Indians 4 and the Twins 0. Dauber is back on the mound. He's going to be facing the catcher Austin Hedges. Hedges has a card. There it is. So Hedges is in the batter's box. We got a righty-righty matchup here. Dobnak had a terrible first inning. That's a 5 and a 7. 5 and a 7 against a right-handed batter is a single 1-6. Ground ball third base 7-20. And that's a ground ball to third base. So Dobnak is able to get the first batter of the second. Ground out 5-3. So Hedges is retired. Brings up the left-handed hitting Jimenez. Jimenez led the game off with a double. So 1 down. It's a 4 and a 3 against the left-handed batter. 4 and a 3 is a fly ball right field X. So the ball is hit to Kirilloff, who's a 4 and a 5. Ooh, goodness. So that's a 1 and a 7. This isn't going to be good. So a 4 and a 1 is a TR3. And then a 5. So it's a TR3. So that's going to be a triple. So Jimenez, with his second extra base hit, puts another run within 90 feet of home plate. It's going to bring up the big hitting Jose Ramirez. Ramirez had 36 home runs in 2021. All-Star reserve, as I mentioned earlier. Infield is going to play at its normal depth, hoping to be able to get Ramirez out. Or, excuse me, that's Eddie Rosario's up next. My apologies, guys. So we've got Rosario up. My apologies. Got ahead of myself. Infield's playing normal though. So that's a 4 and an 8 against the left-handed batter. Is an N home run, which Rosario is an N. A 1 through 8, a double, 9 through 20. That's a 10, so it's going to be a double. So Jimenez scores. Rosario gets a double. He's 2 for 2 on the day. Picks up an RBI as well. So Jimenez scores. Rosario goes to second. And now the switch hitting Jose Ramirez is up. Ramirez was hit by a pitch in the first. As I mentioned, I think he had 36 home runs in 2021. So here we go. That's a 5 and a 7 against a left-handed batter. He's a switch hitter. 5 and a 7 is a single with 2 asterisks. So Ramirez gets a single. He'll pick up his first RBI of the day. Rosario is going to score again. That is now a 6-0 Indians lead. Oh boy, let's go ahead and get the Twins bullpen going, I guess. Going to be going in for our middle relievers here. Well, we're going to go with Matt Shoemaker, right-handed pitcher. We're going to warm up a lefty too. We'll go with Charlie Barnes, only real left-handed long relief option here, so we're going to give them a couple batters to get warmed up. Dobnak is just going to have to fight through this. I'm going to take a look at my pitcher point of weakness in the advanced rules. I think he has to have 6 runs given up in a single inning in order to become impacted with this point of weakness. 1 second. Alright, I was just looking up the starter doesn't have it rule, and I think Dobnak is impacted here. If we look at the rules here, starter who doesn't have it may lose his stuff before his POW inning. Starter gives up 5 runs in any 1 inning, 6 runs in any 2 consecutive innings. He becomes fatigued. Alright, so Baldelli was falling asleep in the dugout, and he forgot to warm up his bullpen, so we're going to need to pitch to 2 batters before the bullpen's ready to go. So Dobnak will pitch under fatigue to these next 2 batters. Not that it's going to make any difference. Let's see here. So we've got Franmil Reyes up next. We've got Ramirez at first. There we go. Alright. Ramirez does not bode well to be on the base paths. He is going to be held at first. So Reyes is a right-handed batter, so our second baseman and our first baseman are going to work together to hold Ramirez at first in our roll. So that's a 2 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher, and that is a strikeout. I'll be darned. Dobnak digs deep. Is able to get that second out with a strikeout. It's going to bring up Josh Naylor next. Naylor grounded out 6-3 in the first. So Naylor's ready to go. Ramirez continues to be held. This time it's Simmons and Sano working together to hold Ramirez at first. So that's a 2 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher. Is a ground ball pitcher B. So Naylor hits a soft grounder back to Dobnak, who picks it up and throws it to first for the third out of the inning. And the Indians are able to put 2 more on the board. And after 1.5, after 2, it's the Indians 6 and the Twins 0. Top of 3. Indians lead the Twins 6-0. Triston McKenzie still on the mound for the Indians. He's facing Simmons. Simmons was a nice acquisition for the Twins. You know, I think defensively he certainly was solid. However, offensively he was really weak and batting in the 9th spot for a reason. So here we go. The pitch from Triston. It's a 4 and a 7 against a right-handed batter. A 4 and a 7 is a strikeout. So that's out number 1. Got Luis Arraez batting next. Arraez is 0 for 1 in the game. Hit a ground out 6-3 in the first. That's a 6 and a 6 against a left-handed batter. That is another strikeout. So 5 strikeouts so far for McKenzie. The Twins batters aren't posing much of a threat here with the young Indian hurler on the mound. Here we go. We got Josh Donaldson up next. Or excuse me, yep, it is Donaldson who's up next. Let me get my cards in order here. It's a 3 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher. 3 and an 8 is a home run 1-10, a double 11-20. So that's a 1. So Donaldson puts the Twins aboard with the solo shot in the top of the 3rd. So the Indians' lead is now 6-1. Donaldson in 2021 had 26 home runs. Kepler's up next. Kepler's 0 for 1 on the day. He lined out to the second baseman in the first. It's a 2 and a 6. 2 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher is a strikeout. So all three outs of the Twins inning came via strikeouts. So the 6th strikeout for McKenzie. So after 2.5, it's the Indians 6 and the Twins 1. Twins are going to make a pitching change. They're going to bring in the right-handed pitcher. McKenzie is on the mound still for the Indians. They're going to bring in Matt Shoemaker, right-handed pitcher in 2021. Shoemaker was just one of, it seemed like dozens of Twins pitchers called up from the minors and brought in from other clubs at the end of their careers. Shoemaker was horrible in 2021 for the Twins. I remember we went to a few games. He always seemed to pitch on Sunday. We had
I think, a 10-ticket season package of the Twins, and Shoemaker always seemed to pitch when we went to the games. My wife, a little bit restricted on when she could go because of her job, so we ended up seeing Shoemaker pitch quite a bit, and he was just horrible. It was more going to be a part of the ambiance and have fun, just saying we went to the ball game and watch the other team, than watch anything that the Twins could put on the field. So Shoemaker in 2021, 3-8, 1-loss record, ERA of 8.06. He made 11 starts, 27 walks, 40 strikeouts. So not the best. For the Strat game, though, he does have a point of weakness as a relief pitcher of 3, 324 fielding error rating. No chance of a balk with a 0. However, he does throw a wild pitch on a 2 or less. He has a hold rating of +4. Again, he pitches from the right side. So we'll see what Shoemaker's able to do here against this hot hitting Cleveland team. Up first for the Indians is Brad Zimmer. Get Zimmer going here. There we go. Nice looking card for Zimmer. Alright, Shoemaker's pitch. It's a 5 and a 9. 5 and a 9 against the left-handed batter is a ground ball second base speed. So a 4-3 put out. A rise to Sano for the first out of the inning. Got Harold Ramirez up next. No relation to Jose Ramirez. Ramirez hit into a fielder's choice in the first. It's a 5 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher with a right-handed batter. 5 and an 8 is a ground ball shortstop. So that's a Simmons to Sano out number 2. We have Ahmed Rosario up next. There's that. Rosario grounded out 6-3 in the first. Indians have 2 outs. It's a 5 and an 8. Against a right-handed batter. 5 and an 8 is a ground ball shortstop. That's the third out of the inning. So for the first time, the Twins were able to put the Indians down 3 up, 3 down, and after 3, it's the Indians 6 and the Twins 1. Top 4, Twins trail the Indians 6-1. Twins have the left-handed hitting Alex Kirilloff up next. Kirilloff struck out in the first. On the day, Triston McKenzie has 6 strikeouts. He has not given up any walks, only 2 hits. Both of those hits are to Donaldson, and Donaldson does have that solo home run shot in the third. Hit from McKenzie. It's a 4 and a 9 against the left-handed batter. A 4 and a 9 is a strikeout. So that's the first out. McKenzie is cruising right now, striking out the Twins batters with impunity. Snow is up next. This should be another strikeout if history serves itself. It's a 3 and a 10 against a right-handed pitcher. Boom! Oh, look at that. Home run, 1-19, a double on a 20. That's a 10. So Miguel Sano hits a home run. That cuts the lead to 4 for the Indians. So nice job by Sano. Second run given up by McKenzie. Twins trail 6-2. I hope that during my my commentary, I don't come across as negative on the Twins. I actually think that, the Twins are a decent team who were just crushed with injuries in 2022. I think if their team had been able to stay healthy, they would have probably been more competitive towards the end for the Central Division crown, albeit it was the weakest division in the major leagues. But I also like the Indians, and I'll call them Guardians, for what they did in 2022 as well. I thought that what Frank Coden did with that young Indians team was fantastic. And as much as they're a rival of the Twins, I really enjoyed following the Indians late last season in 2022. So, Trevor Larnach's up next. He was hit by a pitch in the second. That's a 1 and an 8. That's a single, 1-19. So the Twins seem to be getting to McKenzie. So Larnach gets a single. Catcher Mitch Garver is up next. McKenzie does have a point of weakness of the fourth inning, so we have to keep that in mind here too. So we're going to get the Indians bullpen warmed up. Have the lefty Logan Allen warm up. We're going to bring our righty in to have JC Mejia warm up as well. So Indians bullpen is active. McKenzie has reached his point of weakness inning, so he's getting close to being fatigued, albeit he has pitched extremely well so far to this point. Alright, Garver's on. We've got Larnach on first. I am going to roll for a good lead. Indians were playing back, hoping for that double play. I would have had to roll snake eyes for Larnach to get a good lead, but he does have a rating of 20, so it was worth it. So we're going to swing away. It's a 5 and a 7. Garver's a right-handed batter. 5 and a 7 is a walk. So Garver's able to reach. So McKenzie has reached his point of weakness. He's given up 3, a combination of hits and walks. Need to pitch one more batter here in order for the bullpen to be warmed up and ready to go. So his point of weakness begins with this next batter. So we've got Garver is on first. We have the center fielder Rob Refsnyder up. Refsnyder was 0 for 1 in the first with the line out to the third baseman. The pitch, it's a 2 and a 7. 2 and a 7 against a right-handed pitcher is a fly ball center field B. That's going to be out number 1, or out number 2, excuse me. That's an F8 for 2. We're going to hold the runners where they are. So Refsnyder's retired. We're going to give McKenzie one more batter here. See if he's not able to get through. We've got the weakening Andrelton Simmons up next. Simmons struck out in the third inning. It's a 2 and a 12 against a right-handed pitcher, and that's a ground ball first base B. We're going to score that 3 unassisted. So the Twins are retired. McKenzie's able to get through 4. He does give up another run with the Miguelson no blast. Twins cut the Indians' lead to 4. Cleveland 6, Twins 2. Bottom of 4, Indians have a 6-2 lead. Catcher Austin Hedges is up next.
Hedges grounded out 5-3 in the second. Matt Shoemaker's on the mound in relief of Randy Dobnak. Shoemaker pitched a really solid third inning. See if he can keep it going here. It's a 1 and a 10 against the right-handed pitcher. That's a pop out to shortstop. So 1 down for Cleveland. It's going to bring off the leadoff hitter, Andres Jimenez. Jimenez batting from the left side. 2 multiple base hits. Double in the first, a triple in the second. Let's see if he can get a home run or a single here to keep the quest for the cycle going. It's a 2 and a 6 against the right-handed Shoemaker, and that is a strikeout. So 2 quick outs for Shoemaker here. It's going to bring up Eddie Rosario. I did find my Eddie Rosario card. He's with the Atlanta Braves. So there's Eddie Rosario. 2 down. Rosario hitting from the left side. We have a 1 and a 6 against a right-handed pitcher, and that is a pop out to second base. So just like that, the Indians go down 1-2-3 again. That's 2 quick innings by Shoemaker. And after 4, it's the Twins 2 and the Indians 6. Top of the 5th. Twins trail the Indians 6-2. Indians have made a pitching change. Triston McKenzie pitched 4 solid innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned. Those runs came off of solo blasts by Donaldson and Sano. Did not walk any, had 7 strikeouts and 1 hits batsman. Logan Allen comes into the game. Logan is a left-handed pitcher. Throw a strat card up there for you to take a look at. He has a relief point of weakness of 3. Not eligible to remain in the game if a closed situation occurs. He has a 4 and a 0 fielding error rating. No balk opportunities with Logan on the mound. However, his wild pitch is 17 or less. Again, he is a left-handed hurler, and his hold rating is 0. So, haven't made mention much about hold ratings and catcher's arms in this game. We don't have a lot of base stealers involved here. However, the Indians catcher, Austin Hedges, does have a -2 throwing arm, so the pitcher-catcher combo with Allen in the game is a -2. So something to keep in mind should that opportunity present itself. Again, the Cleveland team is holding on to a nice lead. However, in modern day baseball, things can change on a dime. So let's see how the Twins do here. And Andrelton Simmons is up next for the Twins. He did strike out in the 3rd. Let's see if he's able to get the Twins started here in the top of the 5th. So that's a 2 and an 8 against a left-handed pitcher, and that is a single. So Simmons is indeed able to start the Twins' 5th with a single. So the Twins have a base runner. That'll bring up Luis Arraez. Arraez is 0 for 2 with a strikeout in the 3rd. I am going to roll for a good lead on Simmons. He does get a good lead on a 2. And then if I should get snake eyes, he'll have a 20 as his base stealing opportunity for second base. So a long shot that he gets the good lead. However, it'll be a good stealing chance if he does. So he does not. Simmons is not going to be held on first. Cleveland's going to play infield at their normal depth for Arraez, looking for that double play. So here's the pitch to Arraez. So that's a 1 and a 7 against a left-handed pitcher. That's a fly ball center field. So that's an F8 out, first out of the inning recorded. It's going to bring up Josh Donaldson. Donaldson is 2 for 2 today. He had a single in the 1st and then a home run in his last at-bat in the 3rd. Simmons is not being held. Infield is going to be playing its normal depth. That's a 3 and a 3 against a left-handed batter, or excuse me, left-handed pitcher. And that is a ballpark effect potential home run. So the ballpark effect home run is a 1 through 10, and that's the same for both left and right-handed batters in progressive fields. So we need to roll here to see how Donaldson does, and that's a 16. So he indeed flies out, so that's a fly out to the left fielder for the second out. And Simmons stays at first. Max Kepler will be up next. Kepler is 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout. Infield is playing normal. Ooh, so we have an opportunity for a wild pitch. So as I mentioned earlier, Logan Allen's wild pitch number is a 17, so on a 17 or less, a wild pitch occurs. Ooh, and that's a 20, so it doesn't. Pitch to Kepler, that's a 3 and a 9 against a left-handed pitcher. That's a home run, 1 to 4. Fly out right field B, 5 to 20. So a home run would cut the Indians' lead to 2. Nope, that's a fly out to right field. So the Twins hit some long balls in the top of the 5th, and they strand Simmons at first after the leadoff single. And after 5.5, it's Cleveland 6 and the Twins 2. I should mention that there are a couple pitchers ready to go in both pens. Charlie Barnes for the Twins, left-handed hurler, and J.C. Mejia, right-handed relief pitcher, is ready to go for the Indians. So getting the Indians started off in the 5th is going to be Jose Ramirez. Ramirez was hit by a pitch and scored in the 1st, and then hit a single in the 2nd and scored as well for the Indians. Twins are bringing back Matt Shoemaker. If you'll notice, with names, I'll sometimes butcher them. I've got a 50-50 chance of guessing the correct pronunciation, and I typically get it wrong. It's a design flaw in how my brain works. So Ramirez is up. Our pitch, a 5 and a 10 against a switch hitting Ramirez, who is batting left against the righty. So a 5 and a 10 is a potential ballpark effect single. Ballpark effect single again is the same from both the left and right side of the plate. So 1 through 8 results in a single, and that's a 10. So that's going to be a line out to the second baseman. So the first out is recorded for Ramirez. We have Franmil Reyes up next. There's his card. Reyes is 1 for 2, single in the 1st, strikeout in the 2nd. It's a 5 and a 12 against the right-handed hitting Reyes. 5 and a 12 is a strikeout. Second strikeout of the game for Shoemaker. That's 2 down for the Indians. Now we have Josh Naylor up. Naylor's 0 for 2 on the day. Ground out in the 1st and 2nd innings. Batting from the left side of the plate against the right-handed Shoemaker is a 1 and an 8. And that's a ground ball shortstop. So Cleveland goes down 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 5th, and after 5, it's Cleveland 6 and the Twins 2. Top of 6, Cleveland's up 6 to 2. At the right fielder, Alex Kirilloff up next. Bats from the left side. He's 0 for 2 on the day, 2 strikeouts. Logan Allen's pitch. It's a 6 and a 7 against the left-handed batter, and that is a single. So again, the Twins get the leadoff batter on base. It's a single for Kirilloff. Not much of a stealing threat here. And that's now going to bring up Miguel Sano. Sano struck out in the second, hit a solo home run in the fourth. Kirilloff will not be held at first. Looking for that double play ball. So that is a 3 and a 12. Sano is a right-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher. So that will be a 3 and a 12 as a ground ball shortstop A. So that double play does take place. That's a 6-4-3 double play. And the Twins managed to clear the bases with that double play by Sano. It's going to bring up Trevor Larnach next. Notice the future stars on his baseball card. I mentioned this earlier, and I'll probably say it a million times whenever I play the modern Twins, but I really like the nucleus of this team. The only flaw I see is that there's just a talent gap between the top tier teams in the American League, the Yankees and Houston, that, like the rest of the teams in the American League, the Twins just will have a hard time closing to be competitive, in a 5 or 7 game, 5-game series with those guys, or a 7-game series. They're just not capable of stringing together 4 wins against those top teams. I think Cleveland had a really nice run in 2022, and I really, like I said earlier, enjoy the Cleveland team. I just think the gap in Major League Baseball between the elite teams and then that second rung of good teams is pretty significant. So anyways, let's get back to the game. Pitch to Larnach. It's a 3 and a 6. Against the left-handed pitcher is a hit by pitch. So Larnach gets plunked on the shoulder. Twins once again have a base runner. Larnach's lead feet aren't much of an opportunity for a stolen base. We've got Mitch Garver up next. Garver was picked up by the Rangers after the 2021 season, and then he spent most of his time injured for Texas. Infield's playing normal. That's a 3 and a 7 against the left-handed pitcher, and that is a walk. So Garver manages a 2-out walk. Now the Twins have a bit of a rally going. Runners on first and second with 2 out. Let's see if we can't get you to see that. We have Ref Snyder up next. Ref Snyder does not have a baseball card in this set, so we're going to go old school with him. There you go. Ref Snyder is 0 for 2 on the day. Line out and a ground out. Infield is playing normal. Ooh, potential opportunity here for a random event. So Logan Allen has a 0 for a Bach rating, so nothing occurs, but we will re-roll the 3 dice. See what happens here. So that's a 3 and an 8 against the left-handed pitcher, and Ref Snyder gets a single with 2 stars. So that's going to score Larnach. It's going to move Garver to third. So Ref Snyder picks up the RBI. Gets a hit. Larnach scores. going to be the first run issued by Logan Allen. And Allen has not yet reached his point of weakness inning, so he needs to complete this to reach that. So as Larnach scores, Garver to third, Refsnyder to first, and the shortstop Drelton Simmons up next. Runners on the corner. Gonna roll for a good lead on Refsnyder. Nope. Infield is going to be playing back. So it's a 1 and a 3 with Simmons against a left-handed pitcher. That's a ground ball, third base A. That's an out, 5-3. So the Twins are going to strand 2. They did get 2 hits and a walk. They were able to score 1 to close the gap. Cleveland's leading 6-3 after 5.5. Top of the 6th. Little bullpen activities going on for both teams. Griffin Jacks is starting to warm up for the Twins. He's a right-handed relief pitcher. And then Alex Young is warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. He's a lefty. So shortly both teams will have a lefty-righty combo in their bullpen ready to go. Couple of pitching notes. This will be Schumacher's last inning of pitching. He reached his point of weakness at the beginning of last inning. However, he is able to pitch 2 innings past, or 6 outs past his point of weakness inning. So this will be his last inning regardless of how he does, although he's pitched really well in relief of Dobnak. And then Logan Allen has reached his point of weakness at the end of the 6th inning. However, he is eligible to pitch for 2 additional innings unless that point of weakness goes into effect. So both bullpens will be ready to go here should these relief pitchers run into any problems. So Cleveland's leading 6-3. Twins have been able to score 1 run at a time. Haven't been able to string together that big inning yet, but they're slowly closing the gap. So we've got Bradley Zimmer up for the Indians. Zimmer is 1 for 2 on the day. He had a single in the first, and then was retired on a fielder's choice to get him off the bases in the first, and then grounded out 4-3 in the third. So let's go ahead and get back to the game. Shoemaker to Zimmer. Zimmer's a left-handed batter. The pitch, 5 and a 9, is a ground ball, second base B. So Zimmer is retired, 4-3. Arise to Sano for the first out. It's going to bring up Harold Ramirez. Ramirez 0 for 2 on the day, hit into that fielder's choice I had mentioned in the first, and then grounded out 6-3 in the third. So that's a 2 and a 7 against the right-handed Shoemaker. 2 and a 7 is a single, 1-7. Line out third base, 8-20. All right, so that's a single. So Ramirez is on board. The 1-out single. It's going to bring up Ahmed Rosario, Cleveland second baseman. Rosario is 0 for 2. Both at-bats previously were ground out 6-3. So Simmons to Sano. Ramirez, let's take a look at his base running here. We're going to try to roll for a good lead. I like Shoemaker's +4. I think Garver's arm is a 0. So let's see what we get here. I didn't need to roll the white dice. But that is an 8, so he did not get a good lead. Ramirez is going to be held, though, at first. He's a good base runner here, and the game's starting to get closer. So Rosario is a right-handed hitter, which means our second baseman is helping Sano. So Arise and Sano are working to keep Ramirez close to the base. Pitch to Rosario. That's a 1 and an 8 against a right-handed pitcher. A 1 and an 8 is a strikeout. It's the third strikeout recorded by Shoemaker. And the Indians have 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Catcher Austin Hedges is up next. Hedges is 0 for 2. Ground out and a fly out in his previous at-bats. 2 down. Twins are going to take the hold off of Ramirez. Infield is playing normal. So that's a 3 and a 6. Gotta do that. A 3 and a 6 against a right-handed batter. Shoemaker is a right-handed pitcher, so a 3 and a 6 is a ground ball, third base. That is the third out. Leave Cleveland at the top of their order when they're up next in the 7th inning. Shoemaker does a great job coming in, spelling Dobnak. We'll have the line on him here in the 7th. But after 6, it's the Indians 6 and the Twins 3. Top of the 7th, Cleveland 6, Twins 3. So just a rules update on Logan Allen, where he's at with his pitching. He's now hit his point of weakness inning, so he becomes vulnerable. And so just a clarification on the rules here. Whenever 3 hits and or unintentional walks occur within a subsequent 3-out period, he becomes vulnerable to fatigue. So there you go. So that's what we're going to be keeping an eye out for with Logan. Should be good though here. Should he be able to stay away from that. We got Arise up. Arise is 0 for 3 on the day. He's due for a hit. Final line on Shoemaker. He pitched 4 innings in relief of Dobnak, gave up 1 hit, did not allow a run, and had 3 strikeouts. So a nice 4-inning relief stint by Shoemaker has helped the Twins hold the Cleveland team steady at 6 runs as they take little nips in scoring to try to get back into this game. So the pitch from Allen to Arise, it's a 3 and a 5. Logan is again a left-handed pitcher. Arise should put his card up there. I don't know why I put it down below. So there he is. So a 3 and a 5 against the lefty is a ground ball, second base. So that is an out. So Arise uncharacteristically going 0 for 4. It's going to bring up Josh Donaldson. Donaldson's 2 for 3 on the day. He had a single and a home run. That home run shot was a solo shot. It's a 2 and a 7 against the left-handed pitcher is a walk. So Donaldson's able to draw a 1-out walk. Gives the Twins a base runner. Kepler's up next. Home run by Kepler would narrow the lead to 1. I think in the last at-bat he had a deep fly out to right field. I think we had to roll for ballpark effects or a home run, maybe a split on that one. So let's see if Kepler's not able to get something going here. Donaldson's at first, no stealing threat at all here. He is not being held infield's playing at its normal depth, hoping for a double play. So that's a 2 and a 7 against the left-handed pitcher. Is a ground ball, shortstop B. So that will result in a fielder's choice. Alright, so Donaldson is retired on the fielder's choice. So that's going to be a 6-4. That's the second out. Kepler's going to reach on a fielder's choice. Alright. Going to bring up Alex Kirilov. Kirilov is 1 for 3. Two strikeouts on the day. Bases are clear. Or excuse me, Kepler's on first. My apologies. So that's a 3 and a 3 against the left-handed pitcher is a split, a single, 1 to 5, a line out second, 6 to 20. So that's a 5. So that's a single 1 star for Kirilloff. And Allen gets himself into a bit of a jam here. So Kirilloff reaches on a single. It's going to bring up the power hitting, strikeout leading Miguel Sano. So we're going to make a pitching change here. So that's a single for Kirilloff. Puts Kepler at second. Twins have 2 down. We've got the right-handed hitting Sano up next. So Logan is going to leave the game. And we're going to bring in a right-handed throwing J.C. Mejia. I'm just going to pull out, see if I've got a Mejia card here. Nope. Although I think he might have been in an update. I don't have any of those guys in this mix of player cards. So we're going to bring in J.C. Mejia. We've got Sano in the box. Runners on first and second. I'm just going to do a little bookkeeping here. Okay, so Sano's up. Infield is going to be playing normal. Let's see if we can't get out of this jam that we're in here. Got a righty-righty matchup. And the pitch is a 1 and a 7 against a right-handed batter, or excuse me, right-handed pitcher. A 1 and a 7 is a walk. So Mejia comes into the game, issues a walk to Sano. So in a very uncharacteristic at bat, Sano exercises great plate discipline, and is able to get a walk to first. He had 59 walks against 183 strikeouts in 2021. So Sano gets the walk, and Mejia is going to be responsible for that run. Now we have Trevor Larnach up next with bases loaded. Mound visit by Austin Hedges to try to get Mejia's head into the game. Larnach is 1 for 1 today. He got plunked twice, once in the second and once in the sixth. 2 different pitchers. However, he is 1 for 1. So let's see if Larnach is able to get something here for the Twins. So that is a 3 and a 9 against a right-handed pitcher. A 3 and a 9 is a strikeout. So the mound visit cools Mejia off, and he's able to settle in and get that third Cleveland out. So after 6.5, it's the Indians 6 and the Twins 3. Indians 7th, leading 6-3. Twins have a new pitcher on the mound, Charlie Barnes, left-handed hurler. He's going to be facing the top of the Cleveland order. A little bit of stats for Barnes. He is a left-handed pitcher. He has a point of weakness rating of 3. We've got a fielding error rating of 2.0. No opportunities for a balk or a wild pitch. Good control. And he has a hold rating of -2. So Barnes is in the game in relief of Shoemaker. Shoemaker had a really good line. Can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but he pitched 4 innings, allowed 1 hit, had 3 strikeouts, didn't allow a run. So he's going, Barnes will be facing Andres Jimenez, left-handed hitter, as the first Cleveland batter of the game that he faces. The line on Logan Allen, 2 2/3 inning pitched, 4 hits, 1 run which was earned, 2 walks, and 1 hit batter. So that's the the line on Allen. So the pitch from Barnes to Jimenez. Jimenez is 2 for 3 with a double and a triple. That's a 4 and a 7 against the left-handed hitting, or excuse me, the left-handed pitching Charlie Barnes. Left-handed batter, I should say. So that's a 4 and a 7 as a walk. So Barnes comes into the game and issues a leadoff walk to Jimenez. So far in the game, Jimenez is about the best base stealing threat that we've seen from either team. Barnes does have that hold rating of -2. Garber's arm is a 0, so we'd have a pitcher-catcher combo of -2 with a good lead. It would bring that stealing opportunity down to a 16 for Jimenez. I'm going to try to get a good lead with Jimenez so we can take advantage of his decent base running abilities. So I need a 2 or a 5. Jimenez will be held. It's going to be held by Snow. And we do have Rosario up next. He is a left-handed batter, so the shortstop will be holding Jimenez at first. So here's our roll. So that's a 6. Ooh, I just missed a good lead. All right, so Jimenez will stay put. However, he is being held by the first baseman and shortstop. Rosario's up next. Rosario's 2 for 3 on the day, at a single and a double early in the game. The pitch is a 5 and a 12. Rosario is a left-handed hitter. 5 and a 12 is a ground ball second base X. So Arise is going to get the opportunity here. Arise is a 3 and an 8 second base. Haven't had many of these fielding chart plays today. So it's going to be a 4 and a 13. So a 4 results in an SI1, and then the 8 has a blank on the 13. So there's an SI1, single, runners advance 1 base. So Jimenez is going to go to second. Rosario gets his second single of the day, 3 for 4. Good performance by him. And we have Jose Ramirez up next. So Barnes off to a shaky start here. It's allowed a walk and a hit in his first 2 Cleveland batters that he's faced. Griffin Jacks is available to go in the bullpen for the Twins. Let's see what happens here with Ramirez. So we've got runners at first and second. Jimenez is going to be held at second base. Ramirez is a switch hitter. He will be batting from the right side, so that means Simmons will be holding Jimenez on base. I did drop one of my dice, so I need to pick that up. Alright, sorry about that delay. We had a beach ball fly onto the field, result in a timeout there. That's going to be a 4 and an 8. And all my excitement, another beach ball fell onto the field as I dropped my 20-sided dice. Be right back. Wow, that was a lot of work to get that result. So that's a 4 and an 8 for Ramirez, batting from the right side. So 4 and an 8 is a single 2 stars. So Ramirez is able to get a single. That's going to score Jimenez. Move Rosario to third base. That's Ramirez's second hit of the game. Results in his second RBI as well. And the Cleveland Indians are able to score for the first time in 5 innings. So Jimenez scores. Rosario goes to third. Ramirez is at first. And we've got another slugger up from Franmil Reyes. Alright, so Barnes is off to a really bad start here. We're going to motion to the bullpen. We're going to make a pitching change. So Barnes is responsible for Rosario and Ramirez. Didn't manage to record any outs. Gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run so far. Pretty ugly line for Barnes. So we're going to bring in the lefty, or excuse me, the righty Griffin Jax. So Jax comes into the game. Again, a right-handed hurler, +5 hold rating, so that's not good. Just looking to see if we have a baseball card for him, and I do not. Point of weakness, 4 innings, 5 and a 35 fielding error rating, pretty poor. A balk on a 0, so no balks expected from Jax, however, does have control issues with a 16 or less, resulting in a wild pitch. So not one of the better relievers that you're going to find. However, pretty endemic of the Twins bullpen in 2021. In fact, their bullpen in 2022 wasn't a whole lot better, but we'll see what Jax is able to do here. So Jax comes in. He's got runners at the quarters. Infield is playing back. Ramirez automatically will have a good lead with that. He has the asterisk rating, so we've got a 19. So on a 19 or less, Jax is, or Ramirez is going to be able to steal second base. Garber's not even going to throw the ball. He doesn't want to risk a bad throw. So Ramirez goes to second on the stolen base. All right. We've got Franmil Reyes up next. Reyes is 1 for 3. 2 runners in scoring position. And the roll to Reyes is a 4 and a 4. That's against a right-handed batter, and that is a fly ball center field C. All right. So a fly ball center field C is going to result in must have been a short fly as a runner's hold. So that's out number 1. And we've got Josh Naylor up next. Naylor's 0 for 3 on the day. Left-handed hitter. Ramirez will be held at second, and so that's going to be Arise is going to hold Ramirez at second in our roll. A 4 and a 7. That's going to result in a single 1 to 4, a line out first base 5 through 20 as Naylor is a left-handed batter. It's a 14. So that's a line out to first base. Runners stay put for the second out. That's going to bring up Brad Zimmer. Zimmer on the day is 1 for 3. Infield is playing normal. That's a 1. So we have a potential wild pitch here. Jax has that wild pitch occur on a 16 or less, and that is a 2. So Jax comes into the game, retires the first 2 batters that he faces, and then uncorks a wild pitch. That wild pitch is going to score Rosario from third, and that's going to move Ramirez from second to third. All right. So Zimmer remains in the box. Infield is playing normal. That's a 6 and a 9. That's going to be a fly ball, center field again. So Zimmer is retired for the 3rd Cleveland out, but not before they draw blood again. And they're able to score 2, giving them an 8-3 lead after 7. Top of 8. Cleveland 8, Minnesota 3. Opportunities for the Twins are starting to wind down here. Mitch Garver's up. Garver is 0 for 2 with a walk on the day. Struck out in the 2nd. Flew out to center field in the 4th. Mejia's in the game still for the Cleveland team. It's a 1 and a 7. 1 and a 7 against the right-handed Mejia is a strikeout. Brings up the center fielder Rob Refsnyder. Refsnyder is 1 for 3 on the day. Had a single in his last at bat. Righty-righty matchup. That's a 5 and a 9 is a strikeout for Mejia. That's his 2nd strikeout. Refsnyder goes down. Now the shortstop Simmons is up next. Simmons is 1 for 3 on the day. He did have a strikeout in the 3rd inning, single in the 5th, ground out 5-3 in the 6th. 2 down for the Twins. That's a 5 and a 3. Fly ball left field X. That ball is going to be hit to the Cleveland left fielder Eddie Rosario. Rosario is a 4-2 for fielding. It's a 4 and an 8. 12, so that's a 20. On the 4 is an F3. And an 11, excuse me, a 12 on the 2 is a blank, so it's a fly out to left field. So 3 up, 3 down for the Twins in the top of the 8th. And after 7.5, it's Cleveland 8, Minnesota 3. Bottom of the 8th for the Cleveland Indians. Harold Ramirez, Ahmed Rosario, and Austin Hedges are due up in the Cleveland half. Griffin Jax remains in for the Twins. Jax came in the 7th and was able to get the Cleveland side retired. It's a 5 and a 12 against right-handed batters. That is a ground ball, second base X. So that ball is hit to a rise. A rise is a 3 and an 8 for a fielding error rating. That's a 12. And that's going to result in a 4. So a 12 and a 4. So that's a G2. And an 8. And a 4 is a blank. So that's a ground out 4-3. So Ramirez is retired. Brings up right-handed hitting Ahmed Rosario. Rosario is 0 for 3 on the day. Struck out his last time at bat. It's a 5 and 11. Got a righty-righty matchup here. That results in a power call if it's not, if we're not using the ballpark effects, but we do have ballpark effects in place. There's going to be a home run opportunity here. It's going to be a 1 through 10. We're going to have a home run, and that's a 5. So Ahmed Rosario hits a solo home run for another Indians run. That is his first hit of the day. So Jax gives up a solo blast. First hit of the game for Ahmed Rosario. That's going to bring up Austin Hedges next. I was just looking where Griffin Jax was in terms of his POW inning. He still has a ways to go, so he'll remain in the game. Twins have already used a total of 4 pitchers on the day. I'd like to see if Jax isn't able to get through the remainder of this. Catcher Austin Hedges is up. Got 1 down. Got a righty-righty matchup here. It's a 6 and a 5. And that is a ground ball shortstop X. So the slick fielding and Velton Simmons gets an opportunity. He's a 116. So high degree of likelihood he's going to make the conversion here. It's a G1. And that's 8-14 on a 16. Huh, look at that. I couldn't have called it any worse. That's an E1. So I'd say G1 E1, which results in an error. Batter to first, runners advance 1 base. So I failed to call that one correctly. So Hedges is on first with 1 down. Error committed by Simmons. We know how those errors play out, right? That's usually results in a run or 2. Top of the order for the Indians, we've got Andres Jimenez up next. He got off to a really fast start with a double and triple in his first 2 at-bats, and then picked up a walk in the 7th inning. Got a runner at first. Hedges is not being held. He is going to roll for a good lead. Snake Eyes gets the good lead. That's not the case. The pitch to Jimenez, batting from the left side of the plate. It's a 6 and a 4. That's a ground ball shortstop X. So Simmons is going to get another shot to redeem himself. Hard to imagine a 1 and a 16 defensive player would make back-to-back errors, but you never know. That's why you roll the dice. So that's a 7. Nope. So that's a G1 blank with the runner on first. It's going to be a double play. So Jimenez hits into a double play. It's going to be a 6-4-3. And the Cleveland Indians are out in the bottom of the 8th, but they do pick up a run on the solo blast by Ahmed Rosario. And after 8, it's Cleveland 9, Minnesota 3. All right, top of the 9th. J.C. Mejia remains on the mound for Cleveland. Twins have the top of their order due up this inning. Luis Ariz, uncharacteristically, is 0 for 4 in this game. Let's see if he can get a hit. It's a 3 and an 8 against the right-handed pitcher, and that's a line out to shortstop. So Ariz has an 0 for game. He's 0 for 5. Brings up Josh Donaldson. Donaldson on the day started out very hot with a single and a home run. His first 2 at-bats, flew out to left and then walked in the 7th. See how Donaldson can do here. It's a 4 and an 11 against the right-handed batter. 4 and an 11 is a ground ball shortstop A. So he grounds out 6-3 for the second out. Which brings us to Max Kepler. Kep on the day is 0 for 4. Struck out in the second. Couple line out and then a fly out. Hit into a fielder's choice in the 7th. Nothing really to speak out of the top of the Twins lineup other than the Donaldson home run. That's a 2 and a 5 against the right-handed pitcher. 2 and a 5 is a strikeout. So Kepler ends the game on a strikeout. So the Cleveland Indians take game 1 9-3. 3 Cleveland pitchers participated for the win. Triston McKenzie started out. He pitched 4. Logan Allen pitched 2 2/3. And J.C. Mejia wrapped up the game with 2 1/3 innings pitched. So nice pitching performance by the Indians. From a hitting standpoint, Andres Jimenez had a good game. So did Eddie Rosario. Those were the 2 that stood out. There were some home run blasts. One by Ahmed Rosario, and then the Twins had Josh Donaldson and Miguel Sano both hit home runs as well. So poor pitching performance by the Twins starter Randy Dobnak. He only went 2 innings, put a lot of pressure on the bullpen. However, Matt Shoemaker did come in and have 4 innings of scoreless relief for Dobnak. He had to enter the game in the 3rd, and he was able to pitch through the 6th. So overall, a fun game. I think, just one observation around playing the contemporary games: a little bit more pitcher management than what you probably see with some of the older versions. But that's okay. It just adds an interesting element to the game, and a lot of strikeouts too. I think the Twins had a total of, and I don't have the final box score here, but we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 strikeouts for the Twins, which I don't think is too far from how they actually play the game. It's a big hit or go home with the way the Twins approach contemporary baseball. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed the game. Hope that the baseball cards added an interesting dimension to it. I notice as I go through here, sometimes I have a tendency to get tongue-tied. Hopefully that isn't too much of a distraction. There's a lot going through the cranium as I'm trying to process the game for you. So, at the very end, I hope you find these videos interesting and you have a little bit of fun watching it. So until next time, stay safe. Thanks for watching.